All right, we're going to do math via video. We'll see if this works. If it does not, then we will find another way. So we are going to do our decimal ratio proportion worksheet. So I'm going to walk through just like I normally would, and if we have any questions, we can work through those individually. First, you do need to know the definition of a ratio and proportion. A ratio is a comparison between two quantities. Basically, it is a fraction kicked sideways. Proportion is a comparison between two equal ratios. Really important word is equal. I did take a picture of this, and so I will have the picture separate of the video. So we are going to do this first section. Okay, determine if the following ratios are proportion. Proportion is comparison between two equal ratios. So I'm going to set these up as if they are a fraction. So earlier I said basically all it is going to be a fraction kicked sideways for a ratio. So I am going to write these as if they are in the form of a fraction. I'm writing them just the same way. I'm just lining them up as a fraction form instead of a ratio. Whatever's read first will go on top. Okay, so this is exactly what number 1 states. I just lined them up instead. So what we're going to do is I call 5-year-old hide and seek. Okay, we're going to hide one of those 4 numbers. It does not matter which one, I'm just going to hide one. So I'm going to hide the 3. There, I hid it, you can't see it. Now if you remember when we had an X when we did this before, we would cross multiply and divide. We are still going to cross multiply and divide. So I'm going to circle these 2 numbers, circle my diagonal numbers. Okay, multiply those numbers, and then I'll divide by my lonely number. So, good little lesson, cross, multiply, and divide. That's what we're going to be doing all throughout this lecture. So 5 times 9 is 45. Divided by 15 gives me 3. But I'm going to set this up again. Okay, now I'm going to hide the 5. Cross multiply, okay, and divide. 3 times 15 is 45. Divided by 9 gives me 5. I'm going to write it one more time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hide the 9. Cross multiply. 3 times 15 is 45. Divided by 5 gives me 9. One more time. Hiding the 15. Cross multiply and divide. 5 times 9 is 45. Divided by 3 gives me 15. Every single time I hit a number, I got the number. Okay, so reviewing for the question, it says, determine if the following ratios are proportion. That magic word for proportions, equals. Okay, so basically all you have to do for this first section, for number 1, okay, line them up like we just did over here. Hide one of them. If you get that number that we have hidden, then yes, it is proportion. They are equal. If you do not get the number we have hidden, then no, it is not a proportion. It is just a ratio. So the answer for number 1A is yes. It is a proportion. Now let's do number 2. 1 to 25 equals 4 to 75. Okay, I'm going to line them up again. Whatever's read first goes on top. 1 over 25 equals 4 over 75. Okay, I am going to go ahead and hide the 4. Okay, cross multiply. 1 times 75 is 75. Divided by my lonely number of 25 is 3. I did not get 4. So for B, it is not a proportion. It is just a ratio. So the answer is no. And you would continue the same way with C. Line them up, hide one of the numbers, cross multiply, divide. And if you get that number, yes, it is a proportion. If you do not, no, it is just a ratio. Moving on to number 2, solving for x. Solving for x, you're going to line them up the same way we just did, and then cross multiply and divide. So we have x over 15, that's an x, sorry, equals 20 over 40. This is the same thing. Now we're just solving for x. So we're going to cross multiply and divide. Magic answer, x is going to equal 7.5. Continuing, I'm going to do number 3. We're going to do 1 over x, whatever's read first goes on top, equals 10 over 5. Cross multiply. 1 times 5 divided by 10. I'm going to get 0.5. And you're going to continue with this section doing the same thing. So just line them up. Whatever's read first goes on top equals whatever's read first goes on top. And that is how you're going to do these first 2 sections. I will pause and let you work on some of those, and then we'll go into some of these word problems, which is the same thing. We're going to cross multiply and divide.